All right. Hopefully we have audio now. Yeah, but we're actually here to wrap up a video on the PSP. I've been meaning to get that edited and released, so hopefully we get some chatters tonight. Until then, I'm just going to start doing the usual, some coding. We'll boot everything up and get rolling. Boom. Interesting. Hello, how are you? Yeah, so a Korea little system here.
China Johnson says hi.
Cool, you came through nicely. But yeah, let's boot up the PSP because I'm trying to actually get some video of this working.
Bell says hi.
Hello, Bell. Welcome to the chat, bud. How's everyone doing tonight? Oh, it's night for me. All right, let's see if we can get PSP connected. I worked with a pretty good at my last job. All right. Ooh, gotta fix that. Let's try code Chromecast. Okay. Ooh, we're already out of memory. It's very important that we record the little video. You can do it. There we go. Okay, let's pick this up. Come on, you can do it. Cross your fingers for this PSP. I appreciate you, Bill. There is some chat commands as well. Like you can move your avatar around, you can dance, change your clothing. Let's clear this up a little bit. Right. Uh-oh. No. Took it at internet, I think. Shit. I think I just knocked myself offline trying to set up a Wi-Fi network for this thing. Need an unsecured Wi-Fi network. And I have one, but it's outside and it's apparently too far away from this. Let's see, point it towards the window. This is how it was when I was a kid, like sit next to a window and try to get internet access. Some things don't change. All right. Oh, come on. We have to.
Suzakat says, hey, what's up? What's the reason to use Next.js in a no-CO-need app?
So that's a great question, Susie Cat. That's a really good question. I'll give you my thoughts on that because I've had a lot of people basically ask me why I wasn't using Next.js, and my case was exactly that. I built something that's not for search engines, it's more of an application. However, they're starting to change a little bit. It's hard for me to make an argument to use Next.js if you're building a web app that you don't have SEO needs for. I guess one reason would be being able to pre-render the HTML on the server. There's possibly some speed savings there, some caching opportunities, but if you're like me and constantly developing, that could actually be problematic. So, can I ask you what you're building or what got you thinking about that question? Oh, I'm gonna have to run outside because I really need footage of this. One of the problems about using Next.js or like additional abstractions and building your software too is it can slow you down. Yeah. But it's good to be familiar with it, with the job market the way it is. Don't try building for the PSP, it's maddening. Guys, let's get some more avatars in here tonight. You know what to do to make it so more people come on. All I can do is hit live and sit here and show you what I build. But everything I built here is all viewer driven, so it's a little I need you to test it. For a not very social person, I've found myself in a weird situation. All right, I'm gonna run outside for a second. I'm going to move the Wi-Fi network. Shut that. Right, no misbehavior of all the moderators out the room. All right, I had to climb a palm tree to get the Wi-Fi network. That should do it now, though. Yeah, there we go. So this is a little experiment on this live. We're getting some footage for a video that I've been working on, building for a 20-year-old web browser. And I really want to get it up. It's been about 4 months since I've done a video. Come on. So what's everyone building? What are you working on? Typically the people that find this channel are interested in building stuff, so I like hearing what you're doing. Maybe that room's too complicated for PSP. Let's generate a new one. Oh, we have 2 megabytes of RAM to work with. Not a lot. The system in total has 32, but 2 of that's allocated to the PSP. So let's call this room 2 megabytes. All right. We won't do anything but that. I was hoping of getting out the house this weekend, at least for a wee bit in the night of the town, but that didn't work out. Can't rely on others. Right, Walter. Okay, let's just bloody reset this thing. Party of the USA. Oh, there's no way. Murphy's Laws is one of those things when you don't care if it works or not, it works every time. As soon as you need it to work, you run into the most ridiculous problems. I have to use the router in the house. Okay, that worked first time. That's all I wanted. That was it. That whole time. Just wanted this to load. Alright, now we're going to connect up. Well, first we're going to switch the camera view for my video recording to, not that, to this. Okay, I'll come over here and I'll activate the system. I have to remove the Chromecast. Let's fire this up. Okay. Now we should see avatars appear on screen. That's brilliant. So we have PSP from 2004 connected to YouTube. Some of the offsets are wrong, but bear with me. The most important thing is this works. If you were to type on YouTube right now, this is all live, you would get an avatar on screen, and you can actually make it move around as well. Like if I move my avatar up here, it kind of teleports around, but it does work. Doesn't look like I got clothing implemented yet though, so I've got an opportunity to do that. It does also support items, so I could spawn an item in the room. Let's see if I've got something that makes sense here. Something that won't crash it. Let's see. Let's put a boat in the room. See if that pops up. I might actually have to reload. Let's see. There we go. Well, that was a sprite, so we've got 3 boats, but you get the idea. I haven't coded sprites. So let's pick that up. Reload again. I'm working on a new room selector, so it's making things annoying. Alright, that should do. And if I message from in here, it also pops up on the PSP. Right? Yeah. Cool. Five likes. Appreciate you guys. That's awesome. That'll help us get some more avatars on. Yeah. Really awesome. Thank you. All right. I think I'm going to go grab a wee soft drink and we'll get to work. Can't see it, but I've got a little English bulldog that follows me all the time, so wherever I go I have a dog at my foot. At least one. Okay. Should be enough footage there. We could also hook up Twitch to this. I may as well do that for a demo. Because like I said, I'm actually recording a video at this, so anyone that chats will be forever cemented in this little video. What do I need? I need to generate a Twitch token. So I'll do that off screen here. Okay. What we'll do is we'll populate this token on our local build as well as our production build, which is up here. So going to Twitch, pop in a token, start connection. So that way you guys can hear the messages. And then, I need to fix that. But see, I was working on ability to, I'm not even gonna try to explain it. I get obsessive with stuff I build. Twitch, start connection, active. We can also throw up kick as well. Start connection. All right. So now if I go onto Twitch over here, what we'll do is we'll send a couple of test messages so we could get them on the PSP.
Twitch_Codeloch says hi from Twitch.
Okay, hopefully that shows up. It might have happened off screen, I'm not sure. Oh, it's down here. Okay, perfect. We'll try the same thing from Kick. And this is just all integrations I've been coding over these YouTube live streams, going back about, I don't know, 6-7 months now. Hi from Kick. And it should just pop up here. You won't hear it, but we should see it. Why is it not working? Oh, okay, it did work. Just filtered the message out. Okay, and you might not know this, but if on YouTube, if you type who it'll identify where everyone is. So check this out.
Codeloch says in YouTube.
So you see we have 3 different systems all connected, and it also supports Discord as well. Very simple for me to connect that. Start connection. Oh, okay, you're active. Let's populate our live links. Let Discord know we're actually live tonight. We'll do the same on local. And I'll go test it. Let's see how much I use Discord. Discord link is in the profile though. We have a pretty good group of people in there. People are always streaming in. Just a small group, but still.
Pichohichi says, yo my Viking friend, what's up?
Haha! It's been a little while, buddy. How are you doing? Good to see you here. Thank you for dropping in and showing your support. We're recording a little video on the PSP, so I'm glad you could stop by and be part of that. Yeah, that's you right there. Okay, live stream chats. We're gonna test this. So, like, if I'm in Discord and say
Discord_Codeloch_mobile says what's up.
And hopefully that happened here. How's the game? It's doing okay. Done a lot of development actually. So I've made a web version of this where I can run YouTube, Twitch, and Kick streams without OBS. So that was a big thing. Kind of hoping to just phase out OBS completely and make it, you could just host streams from going to this web URL and click start stream. And I tested that yesterday, it does work. So that's the main thing. And more importantly, I'm trying to bring it to iPhone. So I could go about and host streams showing you Florida and Scotland and bring the avatars along. And while I can technically do that now, it's kind of crappy performance. Like the video's not very smooth unless you have good internet. How is life for you? Okay, yeah, hoping to get some more avatars on tonight. I did a stream a couple of nights ago and a ton of people flooded in, like one after the other. And I actually crashed the server and a couple of them were cool and hung out while I tried to fix it, but definitely missed opportunity for the stream to catch on that night. There could have been a bunch of people on. It would have been a lot of fun. And you can see the tile map being regenerated for the PSP every second or so right here. It takes about 1/10 of a second to do. So I think we'll just drop back to some coding. I've got a couple of features I do want to release, actually quite a backlog. And if anyone wants to chat or has any question about development, more than happy to engage. All right, so what we're looking at here, looking at this. Okay, we're gonna have to test this on mobile. I'm not sure where this additional little bit margin of padding is coming from, but it's been bugging me. It's usually how I brute force it. It's not that. Yeah, I can't release it like that. It looks like shite. Yeah, I coded the full ability for this to host its own RTMP streams, no OBS needed. Think of this almost as like a web-based OBS, because I can share cameras like this. And then you can click go live and then put it up, and you can have like another phone join at different angles. So I can have this one join over here. Let me try that actually. It's easier to demonstrate than explain it. I've always been under the opinion for myself it's easier to code something than try and explain it. And at work, that was always the case. I was never good at explaining what I was doing, but I could code it. All right, what are we looking for? 2 megabyte. Come on. Okay, so I'll go on my phone and I'll also share this camera. So that's what I mean. You can have different angles, switch between them dynamically. That's the idea. And then bring the avatars along. If you see OBS on my screen over here, the whole idea is to phase this out completely. Just have web-based solution. So that's the kind of the big goal here. Is to get that done. Jeez, Louise. But that's the goal. Get rid of OBS. We're in 2025. You should be able to do wireless videos from all your devices without downloading a single thing. And you get the avatars for free. So that's sort of it. Too many unstaged changes, that's for sure. See if this builds. Ooh, we didn't sync or change it. Okay, we'll pause our YouTube chat so we don't burn up API tokens. I'll reactivate it and get some action. Out of all the live streaming services, YouTube sucks the most, unfortunately. It's where we get the most interaction, engagement, support is YouTube, but the API for actually pulling chats is barbaric and has a token limit on how many times I can get in chats. Everything else is Twitch Kick, it's all WebSocket driven essentially, so zero latency and no API token limit. So we could run all day if we wanted. Oh. Uh-oh. That's not good. It's always good to build often. Run into some weirdness. Let's see. Let's fix this up. we're going to do absolute paths for our components here for one. But why are we getting an error is the question. I need to find a nice lint something to reorganize on the imports for me. Oh, we're seeing it on local now too. Interesting. I haven't run into this one. Oh no, because the ESLint changes. Shit. Looks like we have to actually define it. Get away with, yeah. Shape. Hmm. Why is it just complaining about this one component? It's time like this where AI comes in helpful. Spent enough time banging around. Okay, so we need to add a row. This is the joys of having so much abstraction between the code you write and what actually runs in the browser. And as someone that's been coding in the web for 20 years, at least since I was a child, I have mixed feelings on it. Need to start to pick up the change here. That's what I would say to new developers. You're going to be spending a lot of time, no matter how much experience you have, just banging your head around. It's just, there'll be different issues as you grow around. Okay, so we need to clear cache probably. Okay. That was kind of dumb, but whatever. I did set up my own build pipeline. So I wanted to understand, you know, how GitHub's code pipeline or AWS's code pipeline, all that stuff worked. I think it's helpful to set up yourself, even if you don't plan on using it in production or, you know, for jobs or whatever. Every programmer should have their hands around DevOps a little bit. We're gonna watch. There we go, once again. Could have saved ourselves some time just by building here. I was a bit iffy in pushing my local ESLint changes out to the build server. It's like the last place where I want ESLint running. Or maybe that's something you should pull apart. Oh, why does it say error? Let me do one. Ah. What the hell is going on? Uh, this is related to the common JS versus modules issue. And while almost all the React app is modules based, I have hundreds of components and not all of them reference extensions, which throws an error if I put a module mode. So that's not good. All right. For goodness sake. What we'll probably do is undo our ESLint commit. Yeah, this one right here. Oh, bloody hell. Let's just disable it for our build. Okay. Oof. Okay, we have 2 ESLint configs now in our local. It's slow. Sure which one it's using. Okay, well, at least we're back to deploying, so I've disabled it there, but now we're suffering on local again. All right, let's delete this. All right, back in business. Bloody hell. Let's ensure production still loads. Production.
Eight likes and growing. Every single one helps build this world.
Ooh, it's a bit light. What the hell? We've got a ton of unstate changes. We've got the whole PSP system that I built, as well as the RTMP streaming. So let's go ahead and add that first. Let's see, what do I have sitting here? Okay. And some electron changes as well. That's fine. I don't want to trash these changes yet. Maybe we should record a little video segment because I ended up doing all this server side for the PSP. Talk about why. What do we have here? No, we are keeping this. All right, yeah, let me explain this. So bear with me here. This is for the PSP video. We're just going to walk through some of this code and some of the decisions and some of the things I tried and what doesn't work. All right, let's close that. All right, let's first start off. It's assumed in far enough. I think so. Here for audio. All right, so this whole project here on the PSP side, we have 2 megabytes of RAM, and through trial and error, I found out a lot of things that didn't work. There's, obviously the JavaScript implementation's ancient, so you don't have like create element, all the obvious stuff. You don't have arrow functions, you don't have const, you don't have let. Makes sense, right? But one of the most punishing things about this browser was no inner HTML support. So that means you cannot dynamically create elements once the page has already been loaded. So that left us a couple options. We could generate like a cache of tiles, avatars, and chat bubbles. But the problem is we can't even update text content on an element. So that means we can't update a chat bubble's message. So when a new message comes in, we want to assign that chat bubble to someone else. Just can't do it. I did try even using iframes for the chat bubbles, but there's no support for transparency. So that made using iframes just not even an option. One of the techniques for the client side I had the most luck with was using document.write, and this brings me back. The problem is it essentially flashes the content on the PSP. So you might notice every so often that the PSP essentially flashes. That was much more visible here. But what I ended up doing was writing like a shadow DOM. Kind of got the idea from React and Vue. That's how it works in React and Vue. There's a shadow DOM, and then the system decides to update or create elements in the document object model as needed. Obviously, we can't create or update elements, so what we have to do is use document.write to re-render them all. The problem with that, unlike a modern browser, or even a browser on a desktop 20 years ago, on the PSP, when you use document.write, it's essentially equivalent to wiping out all the content that was on the page previously. Like it even wipes out the JavaScript running in memory. So that means we had to do like a stateless implementation. But then I came around and I was like, well, I could just document.write the original script back into the page, as well as an object containing the state. So we could technically persist our client-side state there, but I wasn't happy with it. And that's kind of what I was doing down here. It just wasn't a good solution. So what I ended up doing was kind of more of a hack that you could only do in 2025, or in the last 10, 15 years, was actually using server-side canvas tags. So it's similar to the logic how I implement this on the HTML5 version that you see on the screen right now. But instead of doing it on the client side, I'm doing it on the server side. The one thing you can do with PSP, let's see if I can find it. The one thing you can do is update the source of an image. Image.source, and here's the tile map plus a random string to force it to reload. The problem with the PSP is if you do this a couple of times, it's not freeing up the memory. So the previous versions of that tile map stay in memory until eventually you get out of memory error. So That's what I have this load increment for. So if there's more than 6 load increments, then we force the window location reload, which essentially reloads the page, releases the memory. But as you can see, it's stood up, and that's basically how we have PSP support. Let's take a look at the server-side code real quick. It's quite similar to the client-side code, just no WebGL, obviously. We're generating static frames. Most of the code is actually just to draw these avatar chat bubbles. Everything else is relatively simple. And some simple caching for tile images, avatar images, stuff like that. I should have implemented support for clothing though. I don't see that. Actually, let's try it. Let's try it. Okay, so this is my avatar here. Yeah. Let's change our hairstyle. Change your shirt. Go with no pants. I might have to reload the room in order to trigger this. Okay. Oh, that's right. We're caching it once per username. So I'd have to restart the service. But yeah, about 240 lines of code, server-side canvas code, to get the full Twitch, Kick, Discord, and YouTube chat all on the PSP. So it's kind of worth it. A couple of things I found out you can do on the PSP still is, say we do create elements on the page, maybe for an avatar, you can tween it, so you can control like the element.style.left.top, and you can tween it over time using JavaScript, you know, set interval or set timeout. So, but the problem is it's not been able to update text content to chat bubbles. It kind of blows out me even wanting to do anything like that. But I think to wrap this up, what I'm going to do is have it so you can use the PSP controls to actually move the PSP avatar around on it. And we're going to do that just by every time we load the tile image. So every time we make this request, what I can actually do is pass in some parameters here. Such as XY for tile location, and this'll, since this is already getting loaded at least once a second, that's going to be our input mechanism, and then our output is literally just the image itself. So I think that's what we'll do there. And on the server side, we're just emulating a WebSocket connection. So if you pull up the HTML5 version of the game, Christian Borio, good to see you, buddy. Let me activate the chat readouts here.
Christian Borero says, do you use the VS Code in light mode? That's wild.
Yeah. Not always. A lot of times it's on dark, but man, I'm prone to falling asleep. So sometimes it's helpful. And I used Notepad plus back in the day, before that Notepad, so that's kind of what I'm used to. What I was doing is just giving a little walkthrough on why I coded the PSP thing and how I did it. So I think we got that sorted out. Oh, great question. Are you familiar with WebAssembly? That's something I'm taking a dive into, actually. So there's a couple of options that I've seen off the top of my head. The first one was obviously, you know, C, but I also seen assembly script, which is kind of like TypeScript for WebAssembly. So definitely taking a look at that. And the reason I'm taking a look at it is to implement just a A-star pathfinding that's fast. And the other reason is because I'm doing RTMP streams right from the browser. I was looking at Fmpeg and assembly, WebAssembly, which is kind of fascinating to me. So those are the two use cases I was looking at. I'd be curious what you're wanting to do with WebAssembly. Crazy cool. Yeah, so I pulled down the EM's SDK. But I recommend most folks just check out assembly script. You're already familiar with it. Easy. There we go. Okay, so I have to run that. Is it source? Failed. Why did it fail? Oh, it's a little server started up. What was that? Yeah, pretty cool. Like free commands, and you can build C on your browser and have it available. So it's amazing though. You could write WebAssembly and not have to worry about C. I don't think you have dynamic memory though. You kind of have to like allocate everything first. So there's a couple of differences than how traditionally, construct like JavaScript applications, but I might give this a go actually, because having A-star done in AssemblyScript would be way faster. It's one of the slower things in this project I built here. If we go to like a really big room, you're going to see why I need it. All right, giant room, right? I had to hard code a limit of like a 50 tile radius, and yeah, it's quite slow to get that path. So it might be something that we work through together to figure out. But see, I disable it if you go too far, which is annoying because say you want to get on the other side of this fence, but the only open avenue is like all the way over here. It's not going to find it. Super slow. And it was like one of the fastest A-star implementations that I found. Look, I've already locked up the browser. And I think I'm using web workers as well for the A-star, which is why like the UI thread's not locked up, but and now I've locked it up though. It still work though. Let's see what's involved in actually loading in. Initiate streaming. Okay, so I think we're going to write a little helper function to pull this in. You could always just use existing stuff people have already written, but one of the things I like to do when I'm working with something that I'm not familiar with is write my own little implementation first. It forces me to dig into docs, see how it works, and then I make the decision later if I want to pull in another package. I like how it says XML HTTP request is somewhat older than fetch. I think it's got like 10 years, 20 years on it. And the PSP does not support XML HTTP requests, by the way. So no AJAX requests on the PSP. I did find a workaround from back in the day. It's called JSONP, where you load in a script file but wrap it in a JavaScript function on the server side. And then when that script is appended to the page, it invokes that function, such as like update state or whatever, and pulls in your data object that way. But we're spoiled on the browser. We have webgl, we have shaders, we have WebAssembly. It's nuts. We have to make some decisions though. I think I'm going to do assembly script. But what does that look like for our structure? It's like Webpack has an option for us here. I also have to make a decision where I store it because the project's broken up into 4 distinct parts, 2 for the client side. We'll be using it in the client. Been a while since I poked around on the canvas from webgl side. Let's see if I can remember. So I'm using EC star. Get rid of that. Okay, let's get open tiles that one. We're going to generate our payload for WebAssembly. And I think we communicate it over. Let's see. So this is the object that we're going to work it to WebAssembly. It's just an array of rows and columns. And, could simplify it a little bit. You cannot directly pass JS objects or arrays of objects into WebAssembly. Everything must go through linear memory, aka typed arrays. So what we do is a version of this that pulls back a 2D grid of booleans like 0 for walkable or 1. 0 for blocked, 1 for walkable. We can also make an integer, so we can have weighted tiles. 0 for unwalkable, and yeah, we'll figure it out together. Alright, let's start laying this out. Just invoke this and then map it. That'd be the simplest way. still not good enough. Needs to be 2D array. Assembly script is crazy. This is nuts. Allocate memory. Uint a array. Oof. Alright. I think we're gonna build it into like a canvas webgl side. Okay, so we need to install this. Because the client side is like kind of where I put more mature code. Or this part of the project at least. Okay, so I created an assembly folder here, and we'll be working with TypeScript. Or TypeScript like. Okay, how do we actually compile it? npm. Oh. Okay, where did it put it? What's it say? Okay, so put it build. Get rid of this. What is it? Output. Outputs. Oh, here we go. Cool. That's sick. What is available to us? Can we log? Yeah, we can. Let's see, is there any example projects you could look at? That's always helpful. Curious how like scoping is treated. It's fascinating. Haha. Perfect. Does that mean? Oh. This inline's essentially like a macro. Wherever this function's called, it'll grab that code and stick it in there. It's faster, apparently. We have to get in here static. Hmm. Oh wow, how degenerates it. Oops. God, I didn't even think about running this in Node. It's fascinating. Sick. Oh shit. Oh, come on. This half a decade too late. Jeez Louise. Carl Oliver, yes, I do, buddy. Let me activate the chat over here. Long time no see,
Remember
indeed.
me?
I remember you were on a JavaScript journey. I hope you're still on it. I'm on one myself tonight, digging into assembly script. I feel like a newbie. I have to pause the YouTube chat when people are chatting so it doesn't burn up tokens, because I could stick around here for a while. So, beat my eyes into oblivion. I wonder if you could use a GL shader to implement A-star pathfinding. That's the sort of cool stuff to ask AI. Wow.
Inudum Chikwuka says hello.
Hello, welcome to the chat, buddy. How are you? Web GPU. Wow. Oh my god.
Drew says hey.
Hello, Drew. How are you, bud? Oh, you guys are helping me out tonight with my video that I'm working on PSP. But right now I'm digging into assembly script.
I'm good, and you?
Web GPU. I'm good. Doing okay. It's been crazy, I'll be honest, but still here. I'm still curious. I didn't even know that WebGL was on its way out. This is crazy.
What are you working on? Just subscribed, by the way.
Thank you for your support. So big project wise is what you're seeing. It's kind of like a stream overlay. It's also kind of a replacement for OBS, if you know what that is. And then I have all these side projects that come out of it, like making the chat work on this ancient PSP, and but more importantly, it's kind of a tool that I use to like learn new APIs that are in the browser. So that's everything from WebAssembly tonight. So I want to optimize the pathfinding for the avatars. JavaScript's a little bit slow for that when you get really big rooms. I think if we go to a big room like this, if we go to a big room with like, 100,000 tiles, A-star pathfinding isn't that great. So yeah, now it's not even working. I don't know why. That's not good. Appreciate you, Drew. Yeah, and there's all sorts of different worlds and rooms that people have created. But the part I'm most excited about is it's like, you know, part of the YouTube live streams and stuff. I think that's awesome. Why isn't pathfinding working in these big rooms though? I think I found a bug. Okay, there we go. And just for you, Drew, like what I was talking about, phasing out OBS, I could use this to share camera and stuff, and you can use like multiple devices to feed in different camera sources, and like all through the web. So that's the long-term goal with this, is to build a web-based OBS kind of thing.
Man, you're good.
Appreciate you. It's just continually building on the same thing, and it started for me about 20 years ago, and a lot of the art you see on screen is from my game from back then as well. I'm yet to find another artist. So hopefully we get an artist someday. And there's all sorts of tools in here, like there's a music synthesizer. Can draw assets.
Hi.
Smart info now. Hello.
I am Musamil.
Is that your name? Isn't that a chapter of the Quran? Is that your name?
I am good too.
That's awesome. My part of the world, it's dark out right outside right now. I appreciate the likes, guys. That helps us get some support. As in more avatars coming on, testing the system and giving me stuff to code. I live for it. And you can see like chapters of like different technologies I've explored over time. This was the GPT phase a couple of years ago. So you got AI avatars in here.
Well, I'm a web dev. Want to be an app developer, still learning React, now built some couple of projects of YouTube, still finding my feet. Nice to meet you.
Drew, it's awesome to meet you too. I think you're taking a good path. So when you say you want to be an app developer, do you want to build, you know, apps with like React Native, or are you looking to go into like swiftui for like iPhone development? Guys, you got any questions, please feel free to ask. I have built native apps as well, hybrid apps and everything in between.
Yeah, cross-platform React Native.
Good choice. You could do a lot there. And I've only ran into a circumstance recently where React Native wasn't enough, and that's because I want to do a screen capture on the iPhone, and to do that you need to use something called Replay Kit, and it's a native app, native module. But I'd say almost everything I've ever built, React Native's enough. And you can build incredibly fast, good-looking applications with React Native. And I'll give you a little tip too, a little dirty trick. Like, you can have Electron version of this for desktop and for Steam. I have React Native versions, and I'll just pull in everything I've built here as a web view, and then just add, you know, additional things for like notifications, right? That's one thing you'd want to get out of React Native, like Expo you couldn't get out of the browser on the cell phone. So don't be afraid to do a little bit of hybrid stuff. Don't be afraid to use WebView. You have to use like post message so they can talk back and forth, but you can build convincing, really powerful apps that even a lot of app developers couldn't build by just leveraging web views. Drew, there is a Discord on my channel too. So if you click on my profile, there's a lot of Discord. There's only like 80 of us over there, but there's a lot of folks that are either experienced developers or want to become. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Way to keep in touch with everyone.
Okay, I'll join definitely.
Perfect. Oh, this is where it gets confusing.
Just joined. I really don't know how Discord works, but I'll find my way through.
You and me both. We appreciate you. Yeah, what resources are you using to speak to like other developers that learn how to code and stuff? When I was starting out, forums were a big help. I'm just curious what you use these days. I seen you mentioned YouTube.
says hello.
Hello there. How are you? Wish I could read Arabic, but I definitely can't. Arabic, so. Hmm. Is that a football player reference? I have no idea. You have to give us some more.
Hello.
Hello. I want to see what it did for the character. There's your message. That's super cool. I gotta get a picture of that actually. It's the longest the PSP's been working.
Trophy yellow smiling.
A little bit confusing, but we'll get through it. Alright folks, we'll be shutting this down momentarily. I think we got enough footage tonight. I appreciate everybody that joined, helped test, and showed your support even just by watching. It's huge. Well, reminder what we're doing here. Moving A-star pathfinding to WebAssembly for speed. And getting some footage of this PSP for our video. We'll be releasing a proper video on the channel for the first time in like 5 months. So appreciate everybody helping me test this. Everybody has a great Sunday, Monday, weekend, whatever you're at in the world. Yeah, shutting this down. Do make sure you're subscribed in order to see this again. And there is a Discord, so you can find my YouTube account. And as usual, when we shut this down, use my very system that I created to do this. I have to go back to the right room. All these avatars of folks that interacted with us tonight, which was actually quite a lot when you look at them all. And you're going to see every one of them disappear, but 2. And so come in here and click disable YouTube. Bam. All right. Some are left over from Kick and Twitch. So my test ones, we'll go shut that down. Shut down Kick. Shut down Discord. It's that all shut down. And then to terminate stream, I come up here, and this controls OBS. So I'm happy to say that I'll be phasing this out soon as well. I won't have to control OBS for this anymore. Once again, make sure you subscribed, make sure you like. All right.